Yeah, we had some crunch, but it wasn't like the 9 month death march at the end of Metroid Prime 1.
There was a certain amount of crunch. It never got to be too ridiculous at Retro.
But I remember there was this time where Brian Walker, him and Ryan Harris, the other producer, would go to Whataburger, which is a Texas like burger place, and they would get the milkshakes. And I remember they were 32-ounce milkshakes. They were these gigantic
32
things.
ounces.
Yes. And so I remember one time opening the break room freezer, and the inside of the door was just filled with these monstrosities, and yeah, you would get this. I mean, what better way to stay awake than by drinking 2 pounds of milk at once? It's so stupid. But I mean, yeah, you just you would just be crunching crazy. And again, though, I mean, I was a lot younger than I am now, and
obviously when you crunch at the end and you're putting in hours to finish the game, and there's all that kind of thing. But as far as like, oh my God, like this is this big pressure thing, I didn't feel that. I was just ecstatic that I was had an opportunity to work on Metroid. We had our crunch for Metroid 2 was like 3.5 months, I think, or 4 maybe at the absolute most, and that was just all cinematics and cutscenes, at least for the animators. It was a nice steady march. We had the whole game pretty much done to the end, and then our crunch was basically just hammering out the cutscene. So I actually remember it as pretty fun with not a lot of, at least, animation hardships. I personally worked a good average of like 6 days a week, sometimes 7.
Wow.
To get that stuff done. But I mean, again, there was one excitement for it, and you're about to push out your first Metroid game, so it was, you were excited to get it done. But also the way that we, at least in my opinion, the way that we did the games back then, where it was such a nice steady march all the way to the end.
A light world and a dark world. So we're going to get some cost savings on art production and planning time. That everyone estimates incorrectly. That was not a savings at all. We spent the same amount of effort that we would have if we'd. It's almost harder to build something new over the top of something old than it is to just build the right thing from scratch. So in a certain regard, we just had to, fly by the seat of our pants and do the best that we could with the time that we had. And again, it wasn't a studio where we feared like rolling up our sleeves and doing just a lot of hard work.